There were a couple things that
Certainly got you thinking.
it caught my interest a little bit when we're talking about, we get frustrated with the mistakes. And this is a thing, I mean, I'm sure you remember last year, I was getting on Gifford and Singleton specifically about
Everybody did. It was popular. I mean, those were the three guys
one
that
Hartzog.
got it the
Yeah.
most.
But my issue was like, hey, just let me see some of the younger guys, right? Let me see what some of the younger guys did. And I think because we didn't see some of those younger guys,
That's what
people
drew the ire of
assumed,
Cooper.
yeah, people assumed, did we miss on those evals? Where
I'll entertain that.
I think that's what the assumption was. My assumption was one of two things. Either A, weren't quite ready yet. This is a developmental program, so
He wasn't ready yet.
a couple guys, it might take guys a little bit longer
It's comedic stand-up.
when you're evaluating guys. My second thing was, and I think this is what it actually was. I think Coach Rhule wanted the older guys to bear the burden of the bowl game so that the younger guys could achieve more, right? If you start throwing younger guys in there and having the burden of the bowl game on the
They
younger
get bailed
guys,
out.
then A, you bail out the older guys, but B, now it becomes the younger guys' burden and they can't necessarily.
It's not their burden to bear.
Yes, they didn't put them in this situation, right? So that's where I landed
I'll
on
rock with that.
the young guys. But here's my question, right? Because me personally, I would rather watch young guys make mistakes knowing that they're growing through it rather than old guys make mistakes that I think that's just who they are. Personally, I don't know if everyone views things that way. So when Shafe talked about how we view watching young versus old guys make mistakes, it really kind of perked my ears up a little bit because I am curious how other people process it. For me, I'll take my chances with the young guy, let him grow through it, and I'll get better on the back end.
You uttered the famous line last week or not too long ago, and I literally wanted to choke you.
Mhm.
When I said, "Oh man, I used to be so good at managing my kids, like the plight and stepping back and whatever, versus now or
Mhm.
whatever," and you're like, the stakes are higher. I mean, just real prickish bottom line, right? So, in the same vein,
Yeah.
is my response to what you're saying.
Mhm.
Because I don't think you're wrong.
Mhm.
But what I do think is this: at what cost?
Sure. That's the fair question.
At what cost are you willing to have unfold what you want to have unfold?
That's a totally fair
Right?
question.
So, because the stakes are pretty high.
Yeah. And if you're talking about, hey, we either make a bowl game for the first time in 8 years or we don't.
That's
I totally understand that. And so if you're going to say, hey, if your answer to me is, hey, I know.
Is this last year or this year?
Last year.
Okay.
Last year. If you're saying to me, hey.
Because you remember our conversations, and I was adamant about this. I'm like, they're good enough defensively where you don't throw in the towel and say, and that's a because I don't want to give an extreme.
Yeah.
They were good enough defensively where you didn't feel compelled.
You didn't want to take the risk
to roll the dice.
Yeah.
You didn't. They were good enough defensively where you didn't feel compelled to roll the dice. You knew you weren't where you wanted to be,
but you weren't bad enough. You felt like you had to scrap it.
So and I said that
which I totally understand.
Which was even hard for me because I'm like, in my head, this is what I would say at school. An older guy making mistakes, a younger guy making the mistakes. I'm immediately looking at upside.
The younger guy.
Not even how long I have them.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking upside. Because
like what
the
comes
general
with the mistakes?
Yes. Because the general consensus is if you're kind of lazy in the eval you'll hear this. Well, if I have a
freshman that's doing this and a junior that's doing
they'll
this,
take the young guy. They'll take the young guy.
Grow. Yeah. But that takes out, I think this is what you're saying. It takes out the older guy makes mistakes, but he also makes these plays.
Yeah.
And the younger guy make these plays that go along with his mistakes.
It's always what coaches think. But
it's the Russell Westbrook problem.
But people they in just casual conversation,
you assume the younger guy has the more upside.
Yeah, it's like investing in sales,
which maybe long term.
You ever see managers invest in sales reps? Right? At some point they think, okay, I got this young up and comer, a little green, bucks the trend, talks a little reckless, but man, the potential. Or, the steady Eddie older guy that's super high on the base salary payroll, he may occasionally bag the elephant, or she. So it's like, I got to think upside. It's not necessarily old versus young.
Yeah.
It's what comes with that. And that's how you have to think as a coach, because it still ultimately boils down to trust.
Yeah.
We make it about talent because it's easy, because we don't have any skin in the game.
So that was the next thing I was going to say, right?
Right? We don't have any skin in the game.
Is sometimes it depends on, like, if you have an older guy and you know which mistakes he's going to make, sometimes you can work around that. Whereas if you have a younger guy and it's
you introduce another variable.
Yeah, it's sort of a
it's 100% what it is.
It's sort of a crapshoot. He might make a mistake in this.
You're trying to limit the variables.
Yes.
That's absolutely how people think. So even as hard as it was for me, but I mean, maybe not super hard, because at the end of the day, man, I'm not going to hold you. Like, Caleb wasn't ready either.
Yeah.
So I want to see that.
Right.
Right. I'm not like, hey, they just gave up a, 41-yard seam route. Shoot, man, bending on the bus. Get over the top, man. Slow to go. Like, I don't want to be talking.
Yeah.
Drive home and think, man, if we're going to mess up, can we move the ball?
So that's
so there is dynamic. Well, I'm just helping you, giving you the cheat codes on how to introduce other variables that you may not be thinking about until now, that'll give you some peace. Because I think that's how quality coaches teach. I agree. We're just having this. I just had this conversation post practice. I got a senior who's pretty gifted, big, strong kid. Hasn't played a ton, coming off a couple of injuries, and I said, hey, I really would like to get such and such ready immediately. Oh, he's a senior, and like, he can help us. He's different than what we have, and at what cost is it to develop the younger guy with more years that makes the same mistakes? So immediately I have to process in my head upside and still staying in the moment. Like, that's the missing piece. And that's why sometimes you allow fans to fan, but you do have to keep in perspective. You can't fight every battle with perception, because they're afforded the luxury of just, they don't have to think big picture. They can just look at something, decide whether they like it or not, and then say what you should do. They don't have to weigh any extenuating circumstances or outside factors. They don't.
So I actually
doesn't make them wrong.
Right.
They just don't have enough information.
So, and I don't know if all fans process this way, so I'm just speaking for myself. I actually think, for me, I think too much big picture sometimes when I'm thinking about a young guy versus an old guy.
Give me an example.
So if I'm looking at, hey, let's go back to the secondary from last year, and I'm like, hey, let's throw this guy out there because I think his upside long term is higher. In his upside in this game may not be, right? A coach is thinking about his upside in this game
because you have to
matchup.
You need,
because you're trying to win today.
You need the immediate result. Yeah,
because you're trying to win today. Where I'm sitting here and I go, okay, I can, whether I'm right or wrong, I can sit here and be like, okay, I mean, we're probably not covering Jeremiah Smith well. Just an example, whatever. We're probably not covering Jeremiah Smith well, whether it's a fifth-year guy or a first-year guy. So let me see a guy that I think long-term is going to be better for the program.
Yeah, I've seen it happen twice in recent years, pay dividends at the high school level. I remember clearly Gretna going with the decision to play Flores young.
I know one of them.
Young.
Yeah.
Right? Didn't start the season. They had the quarterback battle. Coach Kale, they're like, forget it. Like, we're going to go young. Now, you took it on the chin in a few.
Yeah.
But he's projecting long-term.
Yeah.
The other one that really panned out,
Anthony Rizek.
Not. That's a good one.
Because he wasn't the guy either as a sophomore.
That's a good one.
And that panned out pretty well.
But I think people could see his.
Was he better at the moment was he better?
The ceiling was clearly higher.
Right. But in that moment, he wasn't better.
No.
Right?
No.
So that's kind of
I agree.
That's my example.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
He took over the job as a sophomore. The senior, whose name I forget, Who was the other quarterback?
Oh, my man, sweet swinging, Colby Brown.
Colby Brown, right? He was better in that.
That
moment.
was a very hard. People will look back at it now and they go, "Oh, it was an easy decision."
No, there's a lot of disagreement.
Really, man, because we were good enough to where
Colby probably could have gotten you pretty close to where you wanted to go.
And I'm sure that's how his parents felt.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Like, was this really necessary?
It's like, oh, Colby could have lost in the state championship game too.
I'll give
right?
you. Yeah, I'll give you another one. Yeah. That's actually the way to look at it. Yeah.
It's like, because that's how I looked at it last year with Nebraska.
Yeah,
is like, well, I mean, Amari Sanders could have given up that touchdown too.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
At least give me the experience. Let me get that's the problem of playing the results game, which is what fans do.
And I remember Coach Lamanji. I think the parents and the immediacy at Burke was he sacrificed the season to play Hickman and Henrich and those guys young.
Mm-hmm.
Like because they were really bad that year.
And it worked out.
But
because they won a state title.
Right? It eventually worked out.
But
you had to go through that whole long season in the meantime. I don't know at the collegiate level with Tupac, right? All eyes on me.
Mm-hmm.
Are you afforded the grace to know that you're playing the long game? There's too many there's just too many guys.
The most ironic part of this?
Go ahead, Alanis.
There is a little too ironic. There is one guy that absolutely.
It's like a traffic jam when you're already late. A no smoking sign on your cigarette break. It's like 10,000 spoons.
When all you need is a knife.
Yeah. It's like meeting the man of your dreams.
And then his beautiful wife.
Isn't it ironic? Cab, taxi. Go ahead.
The one guy who absolutely could have afforded to play the long game.
Yeah.
Panicked and didn't.
I know.
And I'm not even doing it as like a hater or whatever. If there was one person in the history of modern college football that was going to be given enough time.
This coach, he battled his own competitive demons too.
Yes. And I'm talking about Scott Frost. Like we've talked about this before. He's told you this before. And I'm not even saying this is like a hater or whatever. He absolutely.
And I'm not saying it to defend him, right? Because you could look at it either way.
This is like in modern NCAA history, probably no one was going to get more of a runway than Scott Frost at Nebraska. I truly believe that. And he, like you said, he was battling his own competitive demons and tried to win right away rather than try to win the right way. And now were there other issues and whatever? Okay. But to me, that's the first step he took wrong.
That's why I kind of appreciated the Stones. And I know we got a 45, right? So Shane, you don't even have to take a break. We can just get right to it. But that's why self-awareness is so important, right? That's why it's important for Coach Rhule to say, hey, this is kind of what you get with me.
Yeah.
Like he set the tone.
Absolutely.
Like it was going to be a slow burn.
Yeah. It's like, hey, if I knew how to do it faster, I would. That's a quote. That's a direct quote from Matt Rhule. If I knew how to do it faster, I would.
Again, it's like where you get the googly gaga guys. Like, I think I love him because I asked this, Shane, correct me if I'm wrong. I asked this of Riley. I asked it of Frost. I asked it of, hey, just shoot us straight.
Mm-hmm. We can handle it.
Be vulnerable and just say what the blueprint is.
Mm-hmm. We can handle it if we know where we're going.
But it's hard.
It is. I get that.
Because you don't want to chase ghosts in a position of leadership and validate the empty can. Mm-hmm. But if you set the expectation of what the vision is, you get a little grace.